Hi guys, it's me, Arden Lee. I am back today with another video. And in today's video, I want to talk about how one of the quickest, most effective ways for us to change our beliefs, especially our internal ideas around what is possible for us, one of the quickest ways to do that is by joining a social circle full of people who are already doing that work to move forward to get to that place where we want to be, right? We can backwards engineer our results by surrounding ourselves with people who are already getting those results so that we immerse ourselves in a culture where the thing we want to achieve for ourselves is normal, right? This is in so many ways the idea behind group programs, behind masterminds, behind anything where you're joining something on purpose to surround yourself with more and more people who are going to support the kind of work that you're doing, right? So I'm the creator of the Repatterning Project, which is an 8-week course where we hack our beliefs and our mindsets. And every single time, the more and more that I do this work, the more that I facilitate these kinds of containers. Whether it's the Repatterning Project in particular, or there are some other times that I've hosted, transformational weekend events, whatever it is where I facilitate this container. And I'm always surprised, right? It's like it never gets old that I can create a container for this kind of growth. And the growth that I see people undertake within the group always feels bigger than any work that I'm doing with any of the members of that group individually, right? There's always going to be time during group programs and group events where people are receiving their one-on-one time, that real deep dive. That's why people are there to work in the first place, right? To get that personally tailored advice. But something happens when there's this container where everyone is witnessing it and everyone is experiencing it in the same time, which is that it starts to gain this momentum. And it's almost like it just takes off, right? I feel like the start of a course like that, as I've experienced facilitating it, it's almost like I'm putting everyone on a boat, right? And I'm just saying, you guys, like, just get on the boat. I just need your yes to step in. And once you're on the boat and we push away from the shore by beginning the work of this container, it feels like everyone just gets carried along on the current. That as long as they're showing up and immersing themselves, this great transformational group process starts to happen where everyone gets carried along in the same manner, far beyond what I would anticipate in having to work with everyone one-on-one, right? There's this thing that happens in a group where the whole group is carried along on the current that is set by the intention of the group container that feels so much bigger than the amount of individual time I'm spending with any one person, right? That's kind of the magic of seeing this happen. I know that this happens. I teach it, right? And yet, sometimes I'm still surprised by the amount that a social circle or a group program seems to move all at once. And I've gotten some cool results myself for containers that I've also joined recently. So one of the things you guys may know is that after I started getting some of the testimonials from my clients in the Repatterning Project back, who had experienced it, what I found was I was like, wow, this container is far more powerful than I expected when I set out to create it. And I need to learn how to handle it with some reverence, right? I need to learn how to actually treat this container with the respect that it deserves, So therefore, I need to learn how to run a business, essentially, right? I'm great at facilitation. I love running the group, but I also need to learn to treat my business with the respect that it deserves, given the kind of mission that it's capable of accomplishing, the kind of transformation and the kind of results that I've seen it get. I know how much of a soul mission there is now behind my offering this, and I need to treat it with some reverence. So something really cool that is happening lately is that I was super, when I started out in the world of business, I was super intimidated, you know? I walked in, I'm like, I'm goth, right? If you guys haven't noticed already, I'm like, I'm pretty goth, and I'm walking into these brightly lit hotel conference rooms filled with all these people, and it's so outside my realm of expertise. You know, it's so outside my energetic signature in so many ways. I'm like, wow. There's like, I go into these spaces sometimes, and I'm like, you know, at first I was like a little overwhelmed, but I was like, I'm gonna keep going, and I'm not gonna be jaded. I'm not going. There was a video I made several months back that's, you know, on this channel somewhere if you search for it, which is, I believe it was something like, you don't have to martyr yourself to prove that the world isn't fair. I'm pretty sure that's the title of it. You don't have to martyr yourself to prove that the world isn't fair, something like that. And essentially I talked about the fact that I was entering the world of business, and I wanted to have so many judgments around, like, oh my gosh, these people all here, like, they don't have my trauma, they don't understand how hard this is for me to step into my power, like, they don't have my same background, they don't have the same fears. And I made that video as a means of really making a statement and saying, but the point of trauma healing is that we get to access that infinite creative potential as though our trauma imprints had never happened, right? We get to go back to that point where we're not dealing with all of these formative experiences that have shaped us, you know, that limit us. We're not dealing with those same limitations that those experiences have put on us in our past. We get to access that clean slate in that same manner and say, okay, you know, hey, I may have had trauma in my past or whatever, but hey, I'm now capable of making a different choice for myself. And I'm going to step into that, even if it feels scary, and I'm going to trust the process. Well, I did that, and some really cool stuff has started to happen, which is, I went to another business event this past weekend. Again, it was really not an energetic signature that necessarily felt like home to me, right? It's starting at like 8:30 in the morning. And there's this like loud, bright, rah-rah, Lady Gaga, Edge of Glory, like Katy Perry fireworks playing. Like, I was like, oh my God, you guys, this is so different for me. You know, this is not like a place where I feel like I belong, but I'm gonna get some good things out of it. And there were some people there who I knew from being in the world of business, and in seeing them again, you know, for the second or maybe third time, being like, oh hey, yeah, we're cool, we're pals, we're friends, how are your things going, you know? Some of these people have enrolled in really high level masterminds. You know, some people were there because they've made those big leaps in their business. And here we are at an event, and we're learning the same kind of, you know, things about what it takes to really run a business, you know, to what it really takes to successfully create and offer something that has value to people, and how to run it smoothly, right? The same way that we've been doing, that I've been doing. And so there I am, and I'm like, oh, it's this again. And I'm watching other people around me do it, and I'm seeing more and more success stories. And all of a sudden, stuff just starts clicking for me. And I've gone, just in the last couple days after experiencing this, I've gone from this place of fear around okay, I know what I have to do now, right? All right, I know the steps. I know what's there. I've learned, I've gone and immersed myself. I've learned what the system looks like, and I really have no excuse not to do it anymore, but gosh, it's still really scary, and I still feel a lot of resistance around it, right? It still feels like work. Then all of a sudden, I emerged out the other side, and I found myself saying and doing and thinking things where I was just like, oh no, this is easy. And all I have to do is X, Y, Z. And I suddenly was like, wait a minute, it's happening. It's happening, you guys. It's not just about, okay, I'm going to go to these events and I'm going to learn, in my left brain, I'm going to learn all the steps, then I'm going to go home and I'm going to implement them. Because when I thought of it that way, there was still some resistance that came up for me, right? I would feel not ready, or I would feel like, I know this is supposed to work, but I'm terrified. I don't really believe in it fully yet. If I really believed that I was ready, or that it was, that it was effective, then there wouldn't be this resistance coming up, right? And I've tried to really strike that balance between honoring my body and feeling into that kind of resistance, and also calling myself my own bullshit and saying like, okay, but what are you going to do about it? Or, are you going to move forward? Are you going to do this anyway? And I have to say, for the last maybe month or two, I've been beating myself up a little bit for the fact that I was like, Arden, you know what to do. You know what the structure is, and you're just not moving forward on it. Now, yeah, is it going to take you some time to fully download the, what this structure is going to look like for you personally? Is it going to take you some time to really feel where doing these steps in your own business, what does it look like? What does it look like, for me? Not just someone else is doing it. I want to make sure that the steps that I'm supposed to do to make my business successful are, are ones that, I don't want to do something that feels canned, and that if I'm feeling in resistance, right, then it's not coming from that place of inspiration. It's actually coming from like, I know that this is what I'm supposed to do, but it doesn't feel right quite yet, right? And there are a lot of coaches out there who would say like, we'll push through that, do the hard work anyway, and that is absolutely one way of doing it, especially if you're stuck, right? But if you're not stuck, if you're already an object in motion, there's nothing wrong with saying like, I'm going to meditate on these ideas and I'm going to allow them to download more fully into my body first. And so that's what I was kind of doing. And I was kind of, again, I had that voice in the back of my head that was pushing me and saying, this is the direction you need to go in, but I was really trying to allow for some space. And then just something miraculous happened. You guys, as I was around this energy enough, I was around people who also believed in it enough, who were also investing in themselves. And I left this event just feeling like, oh yeah, I get it now. I got this. I've been exposed to it enough that now it's actually starting to take root, and I'm starting to feel like I belong. Oh my goodness, you guys. A friend of mine who's a coach invited me specifically to this event because he had an affiliate referral link for a discounted ticket, and I could have interpreted it as like, oh, he just wants to sell another ticket. He just wants to, get his guest list to be the highest or whatever. And I think actually at the event, the person who invited me, his guest list was the highest, and he won something from the facilitator. I'm pretty sure that that's true. But I found no reason to be jaded about that. I was like, thank you. Yeah, I would love this opportunity. Thank you for including me. And I want to come hang out and be around you and your clients and your students, your participants who you've invited to this thing. I felt so included. I was like, wow, thanks guys. I almost felt like I got, the energetic signature of the mastermind that everyone signed up for, just by saying yes to this one event and sort of seeing everyone kind of hang out and believe in themselves and to get to be a part of that. And oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. And I did this only for the price of, the discounted ticket to this one event. And I came away from this event being like, wow, I think this feels more organic now. Things feel easier. So I wanted to make another video about it from this other perspective, because I know you guys heard me say this before, right? If you've watched that other video, you saw where I was struggling, and I was like, okay, I know it's confronting for me to be around these environments that don't feel natural to me. I'm dealing with people who, you know, may be wonderful, but I don't relate to them. I have so many excuses in my head about why it's harder for me to do this than it is for them. And I need to let go of those excuses. I need to let go of anything in me that's telling me that I'm different, or that I can't, or that it's not accessible to me. I need to just step in and feel like I belong. And this past weekend, I was invited to step in, and I really felt like I belonged. And that feeling of belonging has opened up this sense of possibility for me. I'm seeing other people take big risks in themselves, in their businesses, in investing in themselves, and that also makes me even more in alignment with seeing where it's beneficial for people to invest in themselves and to take big risks in themselves, right? And now this idea and this culture feels so much more natural to me, so much more manageable, and so much easier. What changed? Did I learn anything new at this conference? Yes, I did. I learned a couple cool things, right? There are some things, you know, some like, hey, structure your speech this way. Hey, make this kind of a post, and get people's attention in this manner, or whatever. Or hey, here's the secrets to being confident about doing XYZ aspect of your business. Yeah, absolutely. I got some cool stuff out of it. But that's really not where the internal change is coming from. I felt so inspired after this event that I got a new idea. I called up 2 people who I immediately was inspired by the idea of having them work with me, and I pitched it to them. And already I'm on my way to enrolling people in my next vision of how all of us can step in and play bigger. And I realized, I was like, and the container ended just the other day, and I went and just set those meetings up immediately, just like, I'm gonna take inspired action, right? I'm like looking around me in this conference, and there's all this stuff up on the walls. Keep taking inspired action, right? It's like something that I see so often here. And I just did it. I just was like, I have this idea. I think it's great. I had this moment of inspiration. I want to get people involved, and I showed up, and I was able to hold this space for like, hey, here's why this is gonna work. Here's why I'm sold on it. Here's what I've seen in everyone else who's doing it, and we can do this too. And I was like listening to myself being like, oh my God, I'm becoming one. I'm one of them now. Now I'm talking to someone being like, no, look, this works. If we just do these things, it's gonna work out. It's gonna be worth stepping up and taking a big risk like that. And I was like, holy shit, I did it. Oh my God, now I'm the person. Now I'm the person who feels like this is natural because I joined that peer group. And just going to, an event or two, or just investing in a business coach one-on-one at the end of last year, as I did, those were necessary steps. And yeah, it was necessary to like learn the formulas and learn the information, of course. But wow, oh my gosh, all of a sudden it was like I was in it enough that I reached a tipping point where I was just like, you know what? It's no longer something that I have to implement from this headspace of like, okay, I know what to do. It's actually something that's absorbed into my body, which makes it so much easier to move forward. So I'm excited about that. And I wanted to come on and make this video again to let you know that, oh my God, you guys, I know I teach this, I know it works, but wow, it works on an embodied level that I'm just really feeling the way that this flow happens. And all these fears that I couldn't do it or that I wasn't good enough, I just hung out around those people long enough, and I started to feel like I belonged. And then I came back to like my people, right? I came back to some of my people, and all of a sudden I'm the one from the other group who's coming back and being like, hey, no, we can do this together, and this works, and I want to show you how. Let me let me handle your doubts. Let me show you, right? I believe in this, and let me help you to see how this is going to work too. And I just had this moment today where I was just like, wow, it worked. I did the thing and it worked. Now, is it 100% yet? No, absolutely not. It's getting there. But I can feel it anchoring in. And I'm like, wow, as long as I keep going with the current now, like now I'm in this space where I get to just jump in the boat and trust that the current is going to take me. And all I have to do is make sure that I keep staying in that boat, right? Which is why I set an intention. I was like, all right, in 2020, when I'm ready for that level of stepping up, when I've cleared enough bandwidth that I can really make a commitment, I was like, in 2020, I am going to join an accelerated business mastermind. That's going to be an investment that I make during that year on myself, because I see where it works. And even just kind of going to the weekend events and making friends, you know, has already done so much for me that that I see that as my next step in really stepping up. And just the fact that I believe in that, and I believe in myself now, and I believe in the results that I'll get, and that it's worth it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a change. This is a full-bodied change, and it's great. So I wanted you to see that. I wanted to make a video talking about that and sharing those results. So really surround yourself with the people who are doing the work that you want done. It will absolutely rub off on you. It will start as information that you're going to want to assimilate within your conscious mind. Again, it's important to pay attention to the material. That's why you're there, obviously. But at the same time, it's going to start having that absorbent effect in your body, where your body is just going to naturally absorb, right? We are wired for social interactions. We are wired for inclusion and connection. Ostracism feels very dangerous to our lizard brains. So we have a biological mechanism that says we want to fit in here, right? So if you surround yourself with those people that you want to fit in with, and keep having, you know, better and better experiences of connection, where you reach across the aisle and you bridge the gap between your differences, and you say, maybe these people are not like me in many ways. Maybe they listen to Katy Perry's Fireworks instead of David Bowie's Fame, you know, right? Maybe we've got differences. But I'm going to show up with an open heart, because we're all here to do the same thing, and I want to learn. I'm going to suspend all my judgments. If you do that, miracles will absolutely happen. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this was helpful. I would love for you to reach out to me about the next installment of the Repatterning Project, which starts June 30th. If you want to jump into that boat with me as your captain, and a bunch of awesome people who are committing to really taking control of understanding their patterns and doing this kind of work, so that anything becomes possible for us, as long as we vision the result that we want to achieve and hack our backwards engineering of it, which is exactly what I'm going to teach you guys how to do. Reach out to me. Let's get you in on that container. I'm so excited to start, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's just coming from this place of absolute inspiration lately. I'm so stoked, and I'm really happy and proud to come back and make this video today and share with you where I'm at after having made that video a couple months ago, where I knew the right thing to do, but I was struggling with it. And I did it. I got the fuck over myself, and everything I'm doing is working. I'm really happy. I'd love to be able to do that same thing for you too. So thank you guys, and reach out to me, and I'll see you in the next video.